I'm Addie with Barnstormer Distillery in Rockford, Illinois. Welcome to our Thirsty Thursday cocktail. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. If you are coming back to join us for the first, sixth, or third episode, thank you so much for coming. We do appreciate it. And hello, Forest City Whiskey Society. Hi, Danny. I can see, this is so awesome. Okay, so today I'm kind of excited because we are doing a hot buttered rum. Or a hot buttered whiskey. Whoops, sorry. So, hot buttered rum is the original cocktail. It was actually in the American colonial times down in the Caribbean. Every recipe was slightly different, so we're going to work with two recipes that I've done today. One for our dairy lovers and the other for our lactose intolerant folks out there. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about the hot buttered rum. Base ingredients, it is so simple. It takes a little bit of prep to put the mix together, the hot buttered mix, but maybe 10 minutes, that's it. And then you put it in the refrigerator or the freezer. Then you don't ever have to think about it again until you are ready to make a hot buttered whiskey. So let's talk about whiskey really quick. We will be using actually both of our whiskeys, our award-winning whiskeys. And they are both double-barreled and double-distilled. And what I mean by that is they both lived in two new American oak barrels, and they were both distilled twice, once through a still column and the other through a vacuum still. So what that means is that the second time that they were taken out, all of that character flavor profile from the first barrel was maintained when it went into the next new American oak barrel. So a super unique process. It's not done widely in the industry. So we're just really excited that we get to showcase something that's really unique and tastes beautiful. Okay, so did I mention they're both award winning? So thanks to our Whiskey and Barrel group out of Chicago that held the event sometime last year, where we took 2 golds and 2 Consumer Choice Awards. So it's kind of like double golding in our category. So super fun. Okay, so our barrel strength. We'll talk a little bit about flavor profile because I think that the flavor profile kind of goes with a particular hot buttered recipe that we've actually made. So our barrel strength, let's talk about that. Top notes, butterscotch, toffee, caramel. It is rich and buttery or silky. It's got a really silky mouthfeel once you get past that barrel strength. The barrel strength, this one is 119.2. You will find that it fluctuates on the shelf within a couple of points, just because we actually we bottle one barrel at a time. Is that right, Tim?
Yep, one barrel at a time.
One barrel at a time. So, thanks. Each barrel is slightly, or each bottle, hold on a sec. Each series or batch number is slightly different. Sorry, that was the correct term, is the batch number. The batch number is slightly different from batch to batch simply because it's one barrel to the next barrel. And not all barrels are created equal. So there's some slight differences, but really the main flavor profile is about the same. Okay, middle notes on our barrel strength. Licorice, dark cherry, vanilla, and then it finishes with a beautiful smokiness that I would call maybe campfire smoke. So it's got a beautiful smokiness, and it's got a wonderfully long, beautiful finish on it. So that flavor profile will continue to develop in your mouth as you just let it sit once that you have consumed that whiskey. The flavor profile does change in your mouth if you just let it kind of reminisce in your mouth. So I'm pretty exciting about our barrel strength. So our 90 proof. So our 90 proof top notes are maple syrup. It's got a smooth but spicy mouth feel. Middle notes, caramel, vanilla, a little bit of clove, roasted almond, and the finish is a sweet, smoky tobacco. So it still has the smokiness, but it's slightly different than our barrel strength. So great whiskeys. You guys, we are super, super excited that we have a bourbon whiskey finished in our rum barrels that will hit the market by the 1st of March. So we're super excited. We'll give you guys some more updates on where you can find us in the market. And we'll do a release in the Rockford area initially until more retailers pick us up. So anyways, that's really excited, and we'll probably talk about that next week, a little bit more next week. So anyways, those are our whiskeys. So now let's talk about the hot buttered mix. So our hot buttered mix, I actually have 2 hot buttered mixes. This one I actually made last night, and this one is pretty hard because it is a butter base. So I'll give you the recipe, but we'll post it later this afternoon online for you, just in case you wanted to make it for the weekend. So this one pairs beautifully with our 90 proof. And the reason why I say that is because of the ingredients that we used. So we are coming up on maple syrup season here shortly. Tim, when do you think we'll hit maple syrup season?
Depends on the temperature.
Depends on the temperature.
As soon as it's above freezing during the day and below freezing at night.
Okay, so as soon as it is above freezing during the day and below freezing at night, we will be tapping our maple trees, and we also tap our walnut trees as well, and we do a walnut syrup. So it is amazing. So I say that because we actually use maple syrup in our buttered version. So let's move this. All right, talk about ingredients for the hot buttered mix. We use, and I'll go down the recipe. So we do a 1/2 cup of salted butter, or 1 stick of salted butter. We do 3/4 of brown sugar. Now, if you don't want to use brown sugar, you want to do something just a little bit sweeter, you can use panela. Now, panela is actually the base ingredient for our rum that we will be producing again. It is on the market, but I think you can only find it here in Rockford. But it's a panela base, which means that it's sugarcane base. A brown sugar is actually sugar and molasses base, so it's got a lot of richer flavor in brown sugar. We actually use, let me see, 1 stick of salted butter. I'm actually reading the ingredients. 1 stick of salted butter, 3/4 cup of brown sugar. We do 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup, and this is actually our maple syrup from last year. And it crystallizes, but you know, nothing that a little, you can put it actually in a warm bath water and it all dissolves and it looks beautiful. So we used our homegrown maple syrup, and I would use real maple syrup, guys. Don't use Aunt Jemima or any of the other flavored maple syrups. So try to find a real one, you know, a real maple syrup. You know, you gotta use real, and it does make a difference. And then we do 1/2 teaspoon, or half a tablespoon of vanilla extract. I like the Watkins brand of the maple syrup, or of the vanilla extract. I just think it's so much more flavorful. or you can use vanilla bean paste. And it's equal a half a tablespoon for a half a tablespoon of paste versus extract. You can use extract if you want to see all those vanilla beans. That's kind of fun. If you're using a clear glass, it's kind of fun to see all those little black vanilla beans floating in your drink, and they taste really good. So the other thing that you're going to want to do is 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and just a pinch of clove. So when I'm talking about this particular recipe, if you follow the ingredients, it's maple syrup, you've got a little bit of clove, and you've got a little bit of vanilla. So it really complements this particular whiskey beautifully. So the 90 proof and our buttered recipe, our maple syrup recipe, it just pairs really beautiful. And when we make it, you do need to let it sit for just a little bit because all of those spices really need to get dissolved into the hot water. Okay, so the next one, and I actually got the next one from a girlfriend of mine, Danny Mormon. She made my ice cream version. She brought that over for dinner one evening, and we had hot buttered whiskeys, and they were amazing. So this particular one needs ice cream, so butter and ice cream. When you take out your butter, leave it on the counter, and your ice cream, leave it on the counter for about 30 minutes because you want it to be soft when you use a hand mixer, and you're going to mix those two ingredients together. Then you use a half a pound or 2 cups of powdered sugar. You do 2 cups or a half a pound of brown sugar, a half a tablespoon of cinnamon, 1/4 tablespoon of nutmeg, and then you use a half a quart of vanilla ice cream. So this one is silky and rich, and it's butterscotchy. Hence, it's a perfect pair with our barrel strength. So with that vanilla, you do have vanilla in our whiskey, and that brown sugar actually does come through with the barrel strength as well when you're using the ice cream version. So now that we've talked about that, both of these, so this one actually makes a really big batch. It makes about 42 servings. This one, I've given you a recipe for about 16 servings, so not as much. This is actually what I made yesterday, so not very much. But these, you guys, you can use this hot buttered recipe in like a chai tea. You can use it in coffee. I used it in coffee this morning. Whiskey and rum. So it's really a great mix. It stores in your refrigerator for about 3 months. It stores in your freezer for about 6 months to almost a year. So, all right, that's that. So let's make a cocktail. Any questions about the recipes or anything else? Okay, let's make a cocktail. This is the fun stuff. So, you know, I love to make a cocktail, a hot cocktail in a mug, but because I want you guys to see actually what's happening, I'm gonna make the first cocktail in a glass mug. There's no wrong ways to do it. Let's move things back over. The first one that I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna do the ice cream. And we just take 2 tablespoons, and you can see, so I took this out about a half an hour before, and you can see how like syrupy that is. So it is a little, you gotta like, and quick. And this one actually takes 2 tablespoons. So, and we'll do another one because this is kind of a small spoon, and we'll let that go. And we'll put this over here. The other thing, hot water. I'm using an electric hot hot water. So this will heat up pretty quickly for us. And you can see that I just have, 2 tablespoons, which, what is that in ounces, you guys? Does anybody know? Okay, I don't know without looking at my cheat sheet. So this one, it will be creamy, it will be beautiful. This one you don't need to let sit because the ice cream kind of melts in with that hot water. To get that going. And we will literally put in about 4 to 6 ounces depending on your glass. And I want to go ahead and mix this up. Again, I want you guys to see what's happening. I know that's awkward. Okay, that's better. And you just want, look at the foam on that. Isn't that really beautiful? I love the ice cream one. Simply because of the color that you get, the foam that you get on the top. It is silky and you can still see all of the spices that kind of linger in here. And then we go ahead and we add 1.5 ounces of bourbon. 1.5 ounces for either the barrel strength or 1.5 ounces for our regular bourbon. And again, the reason why I love, spilling is never good. The reason why I love the ice cream and our barrel strength together is because of that butterscotch, buttery, it's rich, it's toffee-like. So we'll just let that sit for just a little bit. We'll put that right in front, and then we'll go ahead and we will make our next one. So our next one, so that one was 2 tablespoons. This one is only 1 tablespoon. And because it is harder, it really does scoop out just like butter. So we'll put that at the bottom. And we'll pop that off. And we will go ahead and add 4 to 6 ounces of water. Leave enough room to get 1.5 ounces of whiskey in your glass. And this one actually takes a little bit of time to dissipate. And it is darker, it is not as creamy, but it still does get a nice froth on the top. And the other thing with our buttered version or our maple syrup version is that you do really need to let things sit for just a little bit. I mean, you're gonna want to because you just put scalding hot water in here. But you do need to let it sit just a little bit to let those spices really blend in with your hot water. Otherwise it tastes grainy and then you're like, oh, that's kind of texture, that's a weird texture. So that's what happened to me yesterday when I made it. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I came back to it and I was like, oh, that's way better. So you just need to let it sit for just a little bit. And then again, we go ahead. Once that is all dissipated, so you want to make sure, or dissolved, you want to make sure that you don't have any more butter clumps. And we're talking about this particular recipe with our 90 proof. The 90 proof goes really well with this recipe because of the maple syrup forward, a little bit of clove. That works really well together. It's got a nice smokiness. And again, 1.5 ounces of your 90 proof. And you'll mix that together. And definitely this one, store in the freezer. Because it's an ice cream base, store in the freezer. This one can be stored in the refrigerator if you want. And you can freeze butter. I did not know this. I didn't know that you could. Hey, Kevin. Or shall I say Coach Murdoch? All right, so this one, again, not real frothy like the first one. Tim, you want to taste?
Oh, absolutely.
So Tim's going to come over and he's going to join us and taste. And I will let you choose, Tim, what you'd like.
Oh no, ladies get to choose.
Well, you know, I always want the barrel strength. But I'm gonna give you the barrel strength. Just be careful because it's hot.
Oh.
And we'll cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy lunchtime. Happy Thirsty Thursday. What do you think?
Oh, delicious.
So, do you taste the butterscotch in that?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. How about vanilla?
I don't know. Let me try again.
So this one, I definitely taste the maple syrup. Be really careful, vanilla. Be really careful about the clove in this particular one. If you use too much clove, it's overwhelming and the whole thing just tastes like a big, huge mound of clove. So a pinch will do you. It is, Kevin. It's really good. And this weather that we're having, you guys, I mean, who doesn't want a hot whiskey drink that's really silky and creamy and beautiful, and you can have several if you choose, you know, after work, of course. So for that particular one, is it caramely, butterscotch, vanilla?
Yeah, you can absolutely taste the barrel strength in it.
Can you? It comes through?
The barrel strength comes through with the toffee, a little vanilla notes. Was there cinnamon added too?
There was.
Oh, I'm tasting the cinnamon. Yes.
Yeah, there's cinnamon and nutmeg. So, and nutmeg goes really well in a lot of different flavors. Can I taste that one? Do you want to taste mine? This is like a switch. Do you want to taste this one? It's like a little old lady. Oh my gosh, I didn't make this one last night. I made this one because I was kind of, yeah, this one was amazing. Oh my gosh, this one's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, this one in front of a fire, you guys, yummy. So again, the recipe, super simple. You do the mix ahead of time. Now that my fingers are sticky. Sorry, you guys. This is like my tactile issues. I don't like sticky fingers. So if you are making this tonight, 1 tablespoon of the maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of the ice cream with 1.5 ounces of either whiskey. And really, if you guys have one or the other whiskey at home, you like the clove? Yeah, I do too. But be careful because it is super overpowering, not overbearing, that just sounds naughty. Like it'll take over your flavor profile, and then the nutmeg and the cinnamon don't come through. That's exactly right, Tim. So, and then you do 4 to 6 ounces of water. Now, if you've got a really big mug, you guys, you can add up to 8 ounces of water, hot water, but make sure that you probably want to put an extra scoop of either if you're adding a little bit more water, because and you can still stay with the 1.5 ounces of whiskey. But if you're adding, like I said, if you're adding more water, like 8 ounces, go ahead and add 1 more tablespoon of either. So 3 or 2. We love, you guys, this is like amazing. I'm finishing early. So we are so glad that you have joined us. Thank you so much for coming. If you like what you have seen, please go ahead and share us, like us, continue to follow us. If you are looking for our products in the retail market, you can go ahead and click the link in our bio or about section, and you can search either by spirit or by location. So if you are in the Chicago area, I know that you can get our bourbons. Our vodkas are a little bit tougher to get. Thank you, Kevin, for letting me know that yesterday. And I'll send you a text message later. So, and if there are no other, oh, thank you. Thanks, Kevin. He just said cheers. So unless you were not listening or watching, sorry. So we are delighted that you have joined us. Thank you so much for giving us one more opportunity to entertain you and teach you something different. I hope that you're walking away with a brand new cocktail in your pocket. And we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. And until we see you guys again, enjoy the spirit of Rockford and make it a Barnstormer weekend. Thanks, guys. Bye.